You know, one of the things we all know is that in sales or on a service call, building the relationship with the homeowner is really important. One of the most common ways that we can build a relationship with a customer is to find things that we have in common. You know, if you see a Harley in their driveway and you ride a Harley, you want to talk about that. If you see a boat and you like the boat, you know, whatever it is, you find things that you each have in common. Here's the thing, however. Your homeowners may be interested in their boat, their fishing, their motorcycles, whatever, but you got to remember they're interested in their boat and their fishing, right, and their Harley, not yours. One of the things that happens a lot of times in relationship building is we find something in common with people and we want to start talking about our motorcycle and our fishing trips and all that kind of thing. And the reality is you build a relationship with the homeowner by allowing them to talk about their fishing and their Harley trips and that type of thing, right? You've got to be very careful because what happens sometimes is that when you talk too much about your situation, you know, in your life, it can seem like you're one-upping your customer. I remember one time I was in Boston speaking and I came down at this high-rise hotel in this convention center. I came down the elevator, and when I came out of the elevator to the convention center, there must have been 20 different events going on. And there was this elderly gentleman right there at the elevator when I walked in, and he asked me, where are you going? And I told him where I was going, and he told me where I was going, right? And he directed me to the proper room, the proper conference room. Well, the next morning I come down on day 2, and he's there again, and I walk up to him, and I said, how you doing? He says, I'm doing super. He said, how are you doing? I said, well, I guess I'm doing super duper. And the old guy turns to me and says, you just had to one-up me, didn't you? Right? That's how sensitive people are to feeling one-upped, right? Like if they say something about their Harley and you say something about your Harley, then they feel like they're one-up. I want to share an example with you from a wonderful Facebook page, HVAC Comedy. If you haven't checked this out, check out HVAC Comedy because this week they posted a video that really illustrates how frustrating it can be to have somebody constantly one-up you.
Crazy week, man. I mean, I put almost 75 hours in. Wow. Yeah. I put about 80 in. Oh, yeah? Well, anyway, it just seemed like no matter what call I got last week, it was something that just sucked, you know. It couldn't have been a filter or something like that. It had to be, I had a reversing valve, pinhole leaks, low voltage short on another one. Oh, okay. I actually had a call last night. It was a bad reversing valve with a shorted coil and a pinhole leak. I changed it in about 40 minutes. Homeowner said if it wasn't for me, a whole litter of kittens that she had just had would have perished. She tipped me with $100 and 2 of the best kittens. Cool, man. So, what are you gonna get into this weekend? Well, I'm actually gonna help my dad change out his furnace. Oh, okay. I'll be piping in a chiller at my Mima's house. Dude, what are you talking about? So you gonna go ahead and get your master license? I mean, yeah, I'm thinking about getting mine. I already have mine. Whatever, dude. I mean, I'm Nate certified. I'm Nathan certified. Man, get over yourself, man. You're always trying to one-up someone. My umbilical cord was a 3/8" charging hose. Vacuum rated. You're out of control, dude. Why is it that no matter what anybody says, no matter how trivial it is, you always have to try to... My urethra is threaded for a Schrader core.
So you can see in this situation how frustrating and overwhelming it could be if somebody's always telling what they did was better. Believe it or not, sometimes even though you don't mean it that way, when you're talking to your homeowner and you start talking too much about your stuff, they can be overwhelmed. I remember when I was first selling, I was always looking for things to have in common with my homeowner. And about a year into my selling career, I was actually in Maui. And when I went up to Maui, I got a chance to play the golf courses at Kapalua, the plantation course, which is where they used to host the Mercedes-Benz Invitational. Now it's called something else, but it's the first big golf tournament every January. I was so amazed playing that golf course and thinking back to some of the great matches I had watched on television from that golf course, and I couldn't believe my good fortune that I got to play it. Well, a week later, I came back home, and one of the first leads I go on, I see golf clubs in the garage. So naturally, I start talking about golfing. But the thing is, I never talked about my trip to Kapalua. I talked about the homeowner's golf, where he got to play. Because if I had gone in and said, yeah, I just got to play the plantation course at Kapalua, and it's a great course, and blah, 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 it would have sounded like I was one-upping him. Be very mindful that people are very sensitive to this. You must make sure and talk about their motorcycles, their camping, their fishing, their whatever it is, talk about their golf, what's interesting. That, my friend, is how you build a relationship. Talk about what interests them.